Hey guys, I'm Evan Griggs, educator for Minnesota Trout Unlimited, and today I'll be teaching you the basics of fly fishing and practicing those new skills on some sunfish. Let's go. So the main piece of equipment we need is a fly rod. Fly rods come in a lot of different sizes and strengths. This is an 8.5 foot long 5-weight rod. The weight of a rod categorizes its strength. Those come in 0s all the way to 15. So a 5-weight is perfect for smaller fish and smaller flies, but it's strong enough to catch larger fish like bass too. Let's talk about the reel. Reels are like line purses. In fly fishing, we don't reel in fish or reel in lures, we use our hands to do everything. So this really only holds our fly line while we're moving around with it. Let's set things up, get ready to fish. So to set up our fly rods, first we need to pull off a whole bunch of line from our reel. And as you pull out this line, you're gonna notice that there's a lot of different kinds on there. The ones that you need to worry about are this thick, rubbery fly line. This stuff makes the whole system work. If we didn't have fly line, we couldn't cast our fly. At the end of the fly line, we have our leader. And it's just clear, tapered fishing line that we tie our fly onto. To string this stuff up, you want to find where your leader and fly line connect, fold that over, and put it through all the eyelets. What's nice about using where the fly line and leader connect is you can see what you're doing, and if you let it go, it'll expand and hold itself in place. So now let's take a look at some flies. I'll show you how to tie them on, and we'll get in the water. So in fly fishing, we use flies that imitate small creatures that fish like to eat. And most of our flies are made out of fur, feathers, other flashy synthetic materials to get their attention. They can be really small, they can be pretty big, kind of depends on the species of fish we're targeting. I carry around a lot of different flies. Some boxes, it'll be all my dry flies or the flies that float on top of the water. Some of them could be my streamers, or the ones that look like minnows and sink beneath the surface. And some will be my nymphs that sink to the bottom and imitate the larvae underneath the water. So we'll open these up and we'll get a better look at them. So this is my nymph box. Nymphs are characterized by having big metal beads on the front of them to help them sink way down to the bottom. But these flies imitate the larvae that live underneath the water, sometimes for 1 to 3 years. If you want to catch a fish in fly fishing, nymphs are the best way to go. Now this side, a little bit of a mess, but these are bigger flies that imitate minnows, crayfish, and other things like that. We call those streamers. If you want to catch the big mean fish in a stream or a lake, a streamer is the way to go. So this is my dry fly box. Dry flies imitate the adult stage of those aquatic bugs, or the nymphs that we talked about earlier, and they float up on top of the water. They could also imitate land bugs like ants or grasshoppers that happen to have a really bad day and fall into the water. I think I'm going to use one of these today. So to tie this hook on, we're going to do what's called a clinch knot. I'll show you a really easy way to do that. First, what we're going to do is pull a bunch of line through, pinch it up top, so it's, your fly is dangling down. Next step, you're going to pinch and twist this tippet underneath your fingers, hold on to the fly. And you'll see that that line becomes twisted. And there's a little loop right above the hook eye. With a little bit of tension, we're going to lift this fly and put that tag end through that loop. Pinch that down. You can grab onto your leader and slowly pull it down. And voila, easy peasy clinch knot. We're ready to go fishing. So sunfish are a great species to target when you're just starting out. One, they're the piranhas of the Midwest. They are ferocious fish and they love eating a whole bunch of different things, and they don't care if it looks pretty or not. Two, fishing for sunfish, they're everywhere. Today we're out at Lake Harriet. Good spots to find sunfish in the lakes here are areas where there's not a lot of trees overhead or hanging over the water, so our line doesn't get stuck in them as we're casting. It's also areas that are shallow that we can wade out in and be safe as we're fishing. Sunfish like to stay close to the bank. They will make their nests in sandy areas. They'll eat food kind of along shade lines and things like that. But enough talking, let's get into the water. So fly casting isn't too difficult. All you have to do is 4 simple parts. First thing we're going to do is hold it correctly. We're going to hold it like a TV remote, thumb on top, reel facing down. First, you just got to wiggle out some slack line so this is nice and tight. We're going to pinch it underneath our cork with our pointer finger. Here's step number 1. We're going to bring our rod tip up to a 10 o'clock position, or like we're changing the channel on the TV. Step 2, we're going to fling this over our head so our line goes flying. We're going to stop in what I call telephone zone, right next to our chin where we might talk on a phone. Notice where the rod tip is pointing, straight, almost straight up, a little bit at an angle. Step 3, fling it back forward really quick. We're stopping at that 10 again. Step 4, drop the rod tip down. I'll put all the pieces together for you. Ideally, we don't want the fly to hit the land or the water behind us. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's really important to keep your wrist tight as you're casting so we don't break those angles. Nice, smooth, and easy. Sometimes we'll want to be able to cast further. So what we need to do is pull off line from our reel by hand because we can't just cast it like we can with a normal fishing rod. So now we're going to unpinch, hold it with our opposite hand, and this is going to become a brake system. I pinch it in between my pointer and my thumb. So every time my line travels over my rod tip and in front of my rod tip, I'm going to open up my left hand or my brake hand for just a second. Open, close, open, close, open, close. It's important to close it before you switch directions so your rod can load. Once it's on the water, we're going to repinch it. This is our drag system, and we're going to pull it in by hand. If you get a bite, what we're going to do is wait for it, and you want to set the hook like you're redoing a new cast. So you're going to lift it up really quick. If you don't get anything, that's okay. That's just enough force to get you back into a cast again. Land it out there, pinch it, strip it. Just a beast. Wait for a bite. Nice. All right, everybody, I think I've taught you all of my secrets I can today. I'm gonna reel in a few more of these guys. But I hope you have fun fly fishing on your own, and I'll see you on the water. Thanks for watching.